Well, hello. So it's been a minute since I've sat down and made an actual video chit-chatting. I have wanted to do this. I don't know if wanted is the actual term because I don't want to do this. I don't want to say this. I have a hard time speaking the words, but most of you in our community know, but I want to talk about my experience with the loss of my 23-year-old daughter. Yep. It was 2 months ago today. It was July 14th, 2022. My daughter was absolutely stunning. Like anybody that has seen her, it's like, wow. She walks into a room and it's like, boom, gorgeous. Show-stopping. But her personality was even bigger and more beautiful. More kind. More supportive, more just amazing. This earth, this world was better because she was in it. I just lived the best 23 years of my life. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that my daughter, who is my best friend, who I saw all the time, talked to many times a day, visited her apartment with her. I actually was fortunate enough the night before she passed to have had a mother-daughter sleepover at her apartment. We cooked, we cleaned, we chatted, we made ambitious plans and just talked about life, and it was awesome. And we just, my best friend, my daughter. The day I found out I was pregnant with her was like, whoa, I was young. I mean, her dad and I, we had been together for a couple of years, and for our age, we were 22 when we had her. We did pretty well, you know. We were just graduating out of our colleges and had just starting our careers, and we did it, and we an amazing time with our baby girl. Her nights and days were flip-flop for a while. Slept all day, up all night, you know, that was her. Actually, her brother, my son, was born 22 months later. And I think he was sleeping through the night before she was. That's another thing. Her brother, my son. Oh, I'm fortunate as any mother could be. I mean, I have one of the most amazing relationships with my kids, and such an open and trusting and loving and just comforting relationship with both of my kids, and they had it with each other. And family is so important, and was so important to my daughter. She didn't miss any event, any family get together, whether it was small or big, or if she had to drive 4 hours to get to it. Didn't matter. Family was so important to her. She had an amazing friend group, huge, you know. They called themselves the Wolf Pack, and boy, aren't they a crew. Those girls I've watched grow up. And now I'm watching them experiencing the greatest loss of their lives, and it's heartbreaking, but they rallied and they did their best friend justice and beauty at her service. There was about 800 pictures. They had copies all around the place. We had 400 people there, and it just showed, like, all through my daughter's life, she touched people in a positive way, whether it was her friends, and she was very honest, very straightforward. If you never had to wonder what she was thinking, ever. Sometimes it was like, okay, I hear you. She was the friend that was willing to say, listen, I know I'm going to upset you right now. We may talk for weeks, but this is, I love you, and yada, yada, yada. That was her. She wanted the best for everybody. Everybody. She was like my biggest cheerleader in any event that, or, you know, hiccup that I went through. She was my cheerleader. Any time at a funeral, for example, that I had to write a speech and stand up, and I started to break down, like at my dad's funeral. I started to break down at the podium. My daughter stood up from her chair, walked up and just stood beside me, and she did that at my grandfather's funeral, and then all of a sudden we're at hers. She taught us strength. I believe her mission on this earth, her goal, her purpose, and she had one heck of a purpose, was to grow the people around her. I miss her. I miss her so much. Nobody should ever, ever, ever have to feel this and go through this. And she had her whole life ahead of her, and you think, I've thought about it so much, like, why didn't you just take me? You know, like, I've lived my life. Let her have hers. She didn't get to have any children. She has her dog, her Betty White dog, her best buddy. Anyways, we don't know the cause of death. I know there's people probably wonder, but the autopsies take a long time. I don't think the autopsy takes a long time. Reading of the results, the ME's offices are backed up everywhere, and so when I see these true crime cases, and it's like it takes 6 weeks to get the report. It does. It really does. And I live in Maine. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of things, but I don't know. I found her, like I said, I spent the night with her the night before. It was a Wednesday night. I worked all day and went over, and we cooked stuffed chicken breasts and used the herbs out of her herb garden, and it was such a good night. Ordered things online that we didn't need, but it was so much fun. And I remember when I received that in the mail, I think it was the morning of her service. It was like, here's the stuff we ordered. Anyways, we had a great night. Everything was fine. I mean, she hadn't felt well here and there, I guess. You know, looking back, like, hearing from her friends, she wasn't eating right. She, besides that night, she had fainted a couple times. In the past few months, for no reason, she had a heart, like, I don't know, something, I can't remember. After she had her COVID and she had her vaccine, and I know they told her to take home one of those heart monitors, and she didn't follow through. I don't know what it is anyways, but we'll find out. I do know, I think, she didn't suffer because, so I left her house early morning because I had to get home to feed my dog and have my coffee. It's like, it's not even that important. Why did I have to leave? But I talked to her when I got home, because we always, whether she's driving or me or whoever, call me when you get there, text me when you get there. I only live 20 minutes away from her, but so I talked to her when I got back. And she had told me that she was gonna lay down and do a face mask, you know, just the kind that you lay on your face with little eye holes, nose, mouth hole. Just relax. Talked to her, I don't know, around 10 o'clock. The last time, I would say. I was going to go over to her apartment later that afternoon or evening to help her write a speech, because she was supposed to be the maid of honor in one of her best friend's weddings that Saturday, 2 days later. So I ran my errands. I had to do some town hall, you know, just things around the house. And I called her. She didn't answer. I just figured, well, she's probably taking a nap. And she doesn't always answer. Let's face it, you know. Texted her, she didn't answer. Whatever, you know. I still didn't feel anything odd about it. And then it was like 5:30 p.m. I was like, I just got this feeling that I had to get to her house. I have a key to her apartment. And I remember looking at Beasley, my dog, and it was time for him to eat and go outside and all the things. And I looked at him and I said, I'm sorry, I'll be back, you know. My son had texted me, Mom, can you check the rain gauge and see how much rain we got today? Because he's a weather buff, and we had quite this rainstorm that day. And I have the text where I say, I'll check when I get home, buddy. I'm going to your sister's house. I just have this weird feeling. I'm sure she's fine. Because trust me, I've had these feelings before and worried. But I've never actually followed through with it, because I realized that I was worrying for nothing in those other cases. And I was really hoping that was this case. But it wasn't. I got in my car. Like I said, I lived 20 minutes from her, and I sped so fast. It was like my engine light all of a sudden came on, and I broke my gas pedal. And somehow it's fixed now, but I got there. And I was on the phone with my best friend, who happens to be my son's fiance's mom. She's my best friend. Her daughter is marrying my son. Her other daughter is best friends with my daughter. They're the ones that introduced my son and his fiance to get together so they could be sisters. And they're getting married in 10 days, so they did good. So I was on the phone with my friend. I got there and I unlocked the door and I ran up the stairs and I found her. She was on the couch. She had her face mask on. It didn't look like she had moved it because her eye holes were there. Nose, well, everything was just in the perfect spot. I pulled it off. I just knew something. I just knew. I'm like, oh my God. Called 911 and I had to do CPR, and thankfully she lives close to everything, the hospital and the ambulance. They got there fast. They got the heartbeat. She hadn't been gone too long. I don't know what happened. And then they got her stable, and they took her to the hospital, and they told me she was stable. And I guess stable just meant she had a heartbeat. Because by the time, once I got over to the ER, they brought me in. And they put me in the family room, which is, I think, where they put people that are going to receive really bad news. And nobody came in. I was like, what's going on? I didn't know. And then my best friend showed up. Our kids were 2 hours away at my kids' dad's lake house. And they told me she was stable. And then finally, the charge nurse, the head nurse, comes in, and I'm like, okay. And she said, I'm so sorry. She said the words that you just never want to hear. She said, we have a heartbeat, but it's not strong, and I'm so sorry, but I don't think she's gonna make it. And I was like, what? No. But yeah, we called my son and my ex-husband, their dad, and his wife, and everybody came up. Took them 2 hours. Actually, it probably was less than that because they were flying. And they got there, and the nurse came in and told him we all went in to see her. She passed at 11 p.m. After it happened, you just think about the strangest things, because it's like a parent's worst nightmare, but you don't think it's going to happen, right? But you worry, but you can't wrap your head around how that would feel, and that's a really good thing, because nobody needs to even tap into this feeling even slightly if they don't have to. But you think about the weirdest things, like I remember thinking, because I'm typically a really positive and upbeat, very peppy, perky, lighthearted person. At my work, I manage the place, and I know I keep morale up because of my personality. I do everywhere. It's part of who I am. It's where my daughter got that from. It's everyone's cheerleader, right? And I thought, is that part of me gone? Is she gone? Did she leave with my daughter? And I know that sounds so stupid, like, who cares? But in that moment, it was just one of those weird thoughts where I was like, who am I now? I saw a picture of myself that I had taken a selfie 4 or 5 months ago, and I'm like, I was genuinely happy in that picture. Will I ever have another picture taken of me where I'm genuinely happy, These are the thoughts, right? And then you have a brother, my son, who's lost his big sister, and his thoughts was, I can't believe, within a couple of years, my big sister's I'm gonna be older than my big sister. It's just a lot of really weird thoughts you think, right? And mostly it's just disbelief, and you go to bed, you don't sleep, right? I had to get medication to sleep, especially the first couple weeks. You wake up and it's real. So you don't want to go to sleep because you don't want to wake up and feel that reality all over again, because it's like every time you wake up, it's like it hits you again, like, oh my God, so you don't want to sleep, you can't sleep, but you need to sleep. I don't know. Anyways, I'm a mess, right? Today's been 2 months, okay? I'm okay. I really am doing okay. Like I said, I have so much to be thankful for, and I'm going to use those gifts that my daughter gave me and all of us. When she was 6 weeks old, she stopped breathing, and we got her breathing again, and we had her stay in the hospital for the night, and they just said maybe it was a seizure, because when she started breathing again, she was lethargic. So it's not like she choked on something, because had she choked, she would have cried. I could have lost her then. I almost lost her then. And if somebody had said to me, you know, I'm going to take your baby girl right now at 6 weeks old, and you're going to be sad, and you're going to miss her, and you're going to wonder, you know, what she would have been like at every age. Or I'm going to give her to you for 23 years. They're going to be 23 of the best years of your life. It's going to be a roller coaster. But when she's 23 years old, almost 24, I'm going to take her back to heaven. And you are going to experience the worst gut-wrenching pain and loss that you will ever imagine. I would choose the 23 years in a heartbeat. She's a gift. She was a gift. I'm so blessed to have had her. My son's a gift. You know, when we first lost her, of course I was like, my son was so concerned. He's my protector. He always has been. I think he was worried I was going to hurt myself. I never implied I would. I never would dream of doing that. But in his mind, I can't lose my mom too, right? And he said to me, Mom, I don't want to lose you. I can't lose you. I need you now more than ever. I'm like, honey, you're not going to. And I said to him, for as much pain and agony and despair, sadness and sorrow and gut-wrenching pain that I have in the loss of your sister, I have equal amount of joy and excitement and love and hope and just happiness for you, my son. And you're standing right in front of me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here with you. And we've been right here together, and I have an amazing support system. I have a wonderful family, my mom, my aunts, other people who have lost children have been an inspiration to me, because I see them living 6 months out, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, 70 years out from losing their child, and they're living. And they find things to laugh about and be happy about. And I have too. And my daughter would not want me to wallow up, you know, and just curl up and die. She'd be like, get up off your butt, wipe those tears. Actually, she'd do this. Get up off your butt, wipe those tears, and get moving. It's going to be okay. And I'd be like, okay. So I lost my daughter 2 months ago today, guys. And like I said, we don't have the autopsy results back. I have no idea what happened. Could be a number of things. She was an organ donor. She was super passionate about that. That was a tough phone call too the next day after she passed, having them call me and having to answer those questions. But she was very passionate about it. She was able to donate so much. And just to think that she could help somebody or anything in the future is awesome, right? So I miss her, and I see signs of her, and she drops me feathers all the time in places that you just wouldn't expect it. And feathers are gifts from your guardian angel and your loved ones that have passed, to let you know they're still with you. And heart rocks. She loved heart rocks. I'm telling you, I'm finding them everywhere. I have a collection growing of heart rocks and feathers, so thank God for this group of amazing support that I have around me. And here, like physically in my real world and online, right? You think you can't make real friends or connections on social media, but that's not true. You can, and I have. There's been just some amazing people that have huddled around me and kept me safe, and that knew about this long, before I announced it on Tiffany's. Tiffany was actually the first person that I told. She knew. She knows how close I am with my kids. I mean, she was just so protective of me, and I appreciate her, and I appreciate all the girls. You know who you are. So I can do this, right? I am a Vilomah. That's another connection through YouTube that a few weeks before my daughter passed, Vilomah popped up on Tiffany's, and I cried my eyes out for her, thinking about losing one of mine and feeling and empathizing in her loss. Thinking, God, please don't ever let me have to feel that. And bam, a few weeks later, I'm a Vilomah too. It's another connection. It's a very spiritual journey I live and will continue to live, and I am going to be okay. The people around me are going to be okay, and there's a lot of happiness in my life, hope and excitement, and I could have grandkids someday, right? Oh, that's exciting. I'm deeply sad. I'll be just doing my own thing, and all of a sudden, boom, crying. I don't know if that'll ever stop. I do want to find out, get her results of what happened. And it doesn't matter, but at the same time, I just feel like it's like that one last, next thing that I just need to meander through, right? Or check off. Like I had to do her apartment. I kept it for like an extra month. Go through all of her things, and I made sure I put my hand on every item in her place, right down to a tissue in her purse that she probably hadn't used in 3 years. And I made sure every single thing that she owned went to somebody that she would want it to go to, or, you know what I mean? So like I honored her. I know I did, and it was hard, but anyways, I just wanted to come out and tell you guys that what I just wanted to make a video about it, okay? I'm okay though. I'm okay. And I appreciate you all. You know who you are. And then some. The words, the kind words y'all have said, I read them all. And it means a lot to me. Strangers on the internet can make you smile or make you feel supported, and that's darn cool. There's a lot of crazy people on the internet, but you know what, I just keep them at arm's length. I have this bubble around me that I'm pretty good about repelling crazies. But the good people, thank you. The kindness, thank you. The love, thank you. The prayers, thank you. Everything, thank you. I feel it. I felt it. There's no other way that I could be this okay in this journey, right? Without all this support. So I thank all of you, and thank you for listening to my story. She was an amazing girl, and now she's a very beautiful, amazing angel, serving her purpose, right? So, all right, guys.